Okay, well, we are experiencing growth mindset moment here. And
Yes.
so thank you, Dr. Dweck, for helping us understand and not give up and just learn from our experiences.
Yes, and take
Sure.
take setbacks as a learning opportunity.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so how are you doing? I hope you're doing okay. Let's just do a little quick introduction. We started this adventure when we saw a video from Daniel Pink that said that mentioned the 21 books that changed his life. So we decided to go ahead and try to read those books and see if they changed our lives too. And so Dr. Venus is joining me today, and we're going to talk about Mindset, a very famous book from Dr. Carol Dweck, and it talks about basically a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. And so, Dr. Venus, what do you um, what do you remember, and what have you thought about when in terms of what Daniel Pink says about the book?
Well, this book, in my opinion, I wholeheartedly agree with him. In my opinion, it was by far, this has risen to my number one.
Mm,
When we're done with all the books, to rank order which one have helped me the most, this has gone to the first place so far. It really spoke to me in every facet of life,
mm,
business wise, personal, in
mm.
any which way, because
Yeah.
and I do think Carol Dweck says that we all have some of both in us. So, but realizing it, what keeps you back, and how you think and how you react to setbacks or things you think you cannot do. Um, it, it, it it's everything. It's
Mhm.
everything, you know. And at the same time, I do want to say, we when we read the Sports Gene, we
Mhm.
learned that it's not all about natural talent, and it's not all about ability. And this doesn't mean everybody can do everything. And I
Right.
think that's the pitfall when we embark on this No Child Left Behind, and everybody can do everything. I
Mm.
think it's misinterpreted. And the one thought that came into my mind immediately, maybe we all misunderstood President Bush. That
Mm.
may not have been his goal to, everybody's going to go to college and everybody's going to do everything, and there's no limits for nobody. Maybe he just meant we cannot forget about people and,
Right.
label them, so to speak, like she says, label them as dumb or
Mhm.
inept or cannot do, but take them to their potential, you know,
Right.
uh, see what they can do with a growth mindset. They may not become president, they may not become
Mhm.
Einstein, they may not become the world's greatest athlete, but they all can grow. So
Yeah.
maybe that's what he meant. And we took it, or society misinterpreted and took it wrong, because that's what I see,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's,
Yeah. Unfortunately, people misinterpret that, and they think that everyone's all going to be on the same playing field. They're
yes.
we're all going to be the same. We're all going to be smart, or we're all going to be uh,
Yeah. We're
best,
all going to
best
be
in
the
class,
greatest. Yeah.
above average.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's just
uh,
not the case. So,
no, no,
but
but I really enjoy this text in that. Um, it's kind of like people taking responsibility for their own self and their own learning and thinking, okay, I can improve. I can see what I'm not, don't be afraid of failures and don't be afraid of doing the
Yeah,
wrong thing.
and
But
want to be challenged. Don't take the easy way out for
yeah,
things. So do want to be challenged. So
I agree.
yes.
Yes. And then with the, like in your notes here, with the right effort and dedication, you can expand the skills that you have, which I
Yes.
think is pretty interesting.
Yes. So when you fail at something, it is a sign that you're not very good at it. A growth mindset sees our abilities as malleable,
Right.
so not
Right.
set in stone. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Okay,
So
so what else do you have?
yeah, my discussion point, of course, I zeroed in on the chapter about teachers, coaches, and parents.
Yeah.
That was not so much an eye opener to me because I've always harping on that.
Mhm.
But most people, when they first become managers, enter a period of great learning. They get lots of training and coaching. They are open to ideas. They think long and hard about how they do their jobs. They're looking to develop. But once they have learned the basics, they stop trying to improve. They are content to doing their jobs rather than making themselves into leaders. The lesson is create an organization that prizes development of ability and watch the leaders emerge. And this is probably something that I've seen so much in my 45 years of working, where
Mhm.
people come in, they don't know what they're doing, they're humble, they learn from people, they see what's going on. But once they think they know it all, they take over and then nothing goes anymore. Then everybody's, in the way. Everybody just has to follow. Once they're
Right.
comfortable,
Yeah.
everybody has to follow whatever they say, and they reign from the top instead of growing with the
Yeah.
group.
Yeah.
So I've
With the
seen that
team,
so much.
the team is so important. I agree.
Yes,
And that most people, when they do become some kind of a middle manager or a manager, they are surrounded by people who have helped them get there, or
yes,
who are their
yes,
future helpers. And so instead of getting complacent and just feeling, yeah, now we got it all figured out, we survived the first year, so this is the way we're going to do it from now on every single time. Um,
yes.
it's not
And
successful.
and not listen anymore and not wanting any input anymore and just it's my way or no way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. People,
unfortunately, yes.
yeah, we don't want to work that way. Okay. Next.
So here's the educators. Think that lowering the standards will give students success experiences, boost their self-esteem, and raise their achievement. It comes from the same philosophy as the overpraising of students' intelligence. Well, it does not work. Lowering the standards just leads to poorly educated students who feel entitled to easy work and lavish praise. And that is sadly where we have arrived at in our society. And it started way back when psychology, I guess, made people or felt that parents don't praise their kids enough, the teachers don't praise enough, don't but we're praising the wrong things. We're praising any time they do something, whether we're not praising the effort, we overpraise just that they are doing something, whether it's good or
Yeah.
not good. And we have arrived at a place where, unfortunately, we're cranking out graduates, and now we need to listen to employers and reverse that course. When employers say that you cannot use these, you cannot pressure these kids, you cannot burden them, you cannot, they cannot take anything. You have to handle them with kids' glove so they don't run off, they don't come on time, they're not dependable, and when you criticize them, they fall apart. So we've gotten to that point where we went way into the other direction, and that's what she is saying. Instead of lowering the standards, we need to motivate students to put in more effort. Not fall apart because you haven't been successful. Find a new strategy. If this strategy doesn't work, find a new one. Put in the effort, and then when you get success there, it'll motivate you to do more. And she's proven it. She
and
brings
the praise really when she talked about the difference in how a woman feels when she's praised and how a man feels when they're praised or when they're criticized, and how boys are told all through school to sit down and don't be so rambunctious and get it, do what you're supposed to be doing. And then the girls are praised. Oh, you're doing what you're supposed to be. You're compliant. You're so compliant. You're such a good girl. But when you hear that, then if a woman is criticized, and I'm sure this is such generalizations, it's just such generalizations. But anyway, when a woman is criticized, she takes it much more to heart, because all she's ever heard is what a good girl she is and how compliant she is and what pretty handwriting she has. And whereas the guy is like, sit down and do your work, and you can do better than this. And then the coach tells him, run and run faster, because you're not fast enough, and you won't be a winner unless you run. And I mean, just the messages are so different all your life, that when you finally get to the point of getting out and you're a grown person, and we're all still children inside, we hear that criticism, and it crushes. It just crushes. Whereas a man might hear the same criticism and think, okay, well, what can I learn from this? Or, that's what you think, but I'm still going to do it the way I want to do it. However he responds.
They don't take it personal. Women have a way of, and not everybody, I don't want to generalize, but, at least our generation, we take it more personal, criticism. That's why it's so hard to take. Because it's you got to look at it. Well, they're saying that, and then of course it's always in the delivery. You can be criticized, constructively. To where you don't take it negatively. That's the hard part. We often say something, we don't mean it that way, but it lands that way, and then it causes more damage than having someone grow, and learn from it and say, hey, I messed this up. Now I'm going to try, or give me some advice. What else can I do to be more successful? So, but, it's hard. It's hard. And especially when you're wired one way, it's just really hard to overcome that. You got to constantly work on it.
So, in like your second bullet there, when you're raising standards, but without giving students the means to reach them, it's giving them the skills to interpret criticism or to interpret information.
Yeah, well, and I see that a lot nowadays, where a student completely explodes just because they're being told by a teacher, I don't want you to sit there. They come in the classroom and I don't know because I'm not there, but I can imagine, it wasn't meant. You cannot sit with this person, and maybe it needs to be explained because the two of you keep each other from working. So
Right.
that's what I'm seeing. You talk more, because I've seen it in my classroom with the people that I work with. I've seen it where I had to say, I don't want you to sit together because you keep each other from learning. So I need for you to go to this chair and for you to go to this chair. If I explain it correctly, I usually don't get resistance, but I've seen kids run out of a classroom because the teacher has asked them to sit someplace else, and they are just totally aggravated and mad and angry and taking it to a level doesn't need to go there.
Yeah. It's you can explain things in more of a growth mindset
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well, not a punish, because if they're fixed, then you're
you're
punishing
right.
them, you're bossing them around, and that's just all
Yeah,
there is to it. But
yeah.
if you
You're
explain,
preventing
like you
them,
said,
yeah,
the
from sitting
logic
with their
behind it.
friend, and yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a fine line all the time, but it's hard. It's hard because because it makes you. You cannot think about everything that you say, everything that you do. How does it come across?
Yeah.
How will
Yeah.
it be taken?
Yeah.
So it's very difficult nowadays, to deal with it, because I do feel that we have created a society that just can't handle anything, and
Yeah.
feel entitled, like she said, feel entitled to just doing, and
Yeah.
it's difficult. So and
It's got to be learned. I think it's got to be learned.
it got to be learned.
We
Yeah,
don't just pop out this way and be resilient and full of grit,
exactly. Yeah,
and
yeah.
it
So
has to be explained and learned and modeled.
yeah,
And as you said here, school is a place for teachers to
to
learn as
learn
well.
as well. Yeah,
So talk a
yeah.
little bit about that. About that, to me, that speaks of modeling, but I don't know if that's what you
That
point to.
speaks of modeling, and to me, not only that speaks of also, and we do hear that sometimes. I've had speakers, I've listened to speakers who have promoted themselves as a lifelong learner. You
Mhm.
never stop learning. I think that's
Yeah.
something that you hear a lot in universities. We have to keep growing. I
Mhm.
know when I went through my PhD, that was the theme. You need, this is, you're here you're not finished. You're never
Right.
finished. You're
Right.
never finished in your whole life. You always need to uh, search for more learning experiences. And that,
Mhm.
to me, for me, that has always been, I can, that for me, that's what the US has done for me.
Mm.
Growing up in Germany, you went through school, you got your diploma, and then that was it. You could go
Yeah.
to a university, but back in my time, there was no second chance, to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
something different. If you felt that what you got and what you learned and the profession you chose wasn't really, and it's not like that anymore. It has changed over the years, but way back
Mhm.
when I went through, you made your choice, and that was it. There was no
Yeah.
way out, and that, to me, coming to the States, the many things I could all of a sudden dive into,
Mhm.
the military. Oh man, the possibilities, the
Yeah.
opportunities. It was just like a toy store to me,
That's
so
wonderful.
yeah, it was wonderful, and I've always embraced that over
Yeah.
here, you want to do something, the doors are open, you can
Yeah.
do it. You
Yeah.
may not, you may not pick the right thing, and you
Yeah.
may realize, well, that wasn't it. I can't do
Yeah.
it. I don't enjoy it like I thought I would, or I just don't have the ability, it happens.
Well, and it's not easy.
No,
That doesn't mean you have
no,
the choice, but the choice
yes,
may be difficult to make, and it may require you to focus a certain amount of time in your life on something. But it's worth it. I mean, the
yeah.
opportunity itself is worth it, and I
Having the
agree.
opportunity, yeah, and you're absolutely right. There are many things in life we can't all, especially when we are adults.
Yeah.
You have family. There's other people to think of. There's your
Hmm.
work to think of. You got to make a living. Got to bring in the money.
Hmm.
So you cannot just do whatever you want to do. You got to realize that. So you got to realize the
Yeah.
things you strive for, it may not be reachable within a certain period of time. It may be
Hmm.
taking you forever, but if it's worth it to
Yeah.
you, take forever,
Yeah.
who cares? You
That's
know,
right.
there may be roadblocks along the way. Just keep on going, keep on
Absolutely.
going. So if you want to, or, in one of the other books, I think it was a sports gene, we also learned, well, how long are you going to keep going with something where you're not going to achieve it?
Right.
you
Yeah.
know and
Yeah.
it's a fine line. You
Hmm.
got to realize at some point in time, well, this may just not be for you. you know
Yeah. And
and
don't be afraid to change into something. And
yes,
I believe that was the sports gene where
yes,
um, uh, I think it was someone who was in soccer, went to track, or track and went to soccer, or something like that. But they changed their trajectory of their whole life just because they decided, okay, I've gone as far as I can go in this area, and
yeah,
then onward. Change my mind and make it
it,
go a different direction.
yeah, and that goes along, I think, with a growth mindset, that
Hmm.
you pursue things, that where you just achieve a goal, a personal goal, or where you just feel that you have grown or are growing, and something you want to do, and not pursue something that eventually makes you feel like a failure, because
Right.
you're not going to get it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You just have to make that decision and then go with it and
yeah,
learn, appreciate the learning that you had in your first direction, and then look forward to the learning that you're going to have in the next.
yeah,
All right. Um, let's see. So one of the things that really, I just put small little bullet points. If you wonder what kind of mindset you have, ask yourself, when do you feel smart? And I thought that was really a great a great test to see about for your own personal mindset. Okay, do I feel smart when I get something right and I walk into a room and everyone says, "Oh, Karen, you did so great. You're so smart. You're so wonderful." Okay, then that's fixed. I've worked to a certain point and I get the praise that I want. Or do I feel smart when I work all day on this problem by myself, and then I finally find a solution to this problem, or I build something, or I plant something, or I can stand back and look at my yard and see what I've done there, or built an app or something like that. When you've expended the energy and then you're successful, is that when you feel smart? So I thought growth mindset versus fixed mindset. It's a good way to determine when you what
yeah.
kind of
And
person you
I
are.
think it's not about feeling smart because you already know something. You feel
Hmm.
smart because you figure something out,
Yeah,
something
yeah,
you don't know how to do yet.
yeah,
So
yep, absolutely. Yeah, when you get to the other side and you learn something, that is success to
yeah.
me.
And I give you an example. When in my tutoring, I
Mm,
have one child, or actually several, um, uh, two in particular. They are a challenge to me because the things that they do, uh, I don't necessarily know,
Mm.
the things they have to master in math. Um, Either I had never seen it. There are some
Mm.
things I had never seen. You can't know everything. So, or I had not seen them in a long time, but I make it my business to learn it because I need to teach this child,
Sure.
so that's what I do, and it's such a great feeling when you learn yourself as a teacher something brand new, something you haven't seen before, something that was long forgotten,
Hmm.
and now I'm up to date on it again, and I can impart that on that student, and the
Yeah.
student is so happy because you taught them,
Yeah.
and I want to
Yeah.
say to them, well, but you taught me too.
Yeah.
This
That's
is,
beautiful.
it's not just you learning, it's me too, and thanks to you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's wonderful. That's great. Um, and if you ever get the opportunity to share that with a student, I'll bet that would really blow their minds as
Yeah, I
well.
do. Yeah, I tell them. I do tell them. I'm learning
Yeah.
from you too.
That's
So
great. That's
yeah,
great.
yeah,
Let's see. Something else that jumped out at me is that even in a growth mindset, failure can be a painful experience, but it doesn't define you. It's a problem to be faced, dealt with, and learned from, but it's not your whole life. It's not the end. It's not the problem does not take over your existence in life. So uh,
yeah. And the
even
key
though
here,
that it's the painful experience, but you learn from it.
yeah, and the key here is that you, like Carol Dweck says, if one strategy doesn't lead to success, try out another one,
Hmm.
and if that doesn't work either, maybe you need to ask for some help.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe just asking. There's nothing wrong with asking for help.
yeah, yep, yeah. And that's where you learn from others' experiences, and someone else gets the benefit of helping you, and they learned as well. And they can maybe see a purpose in going through what they went through. You know,
Yeah.
that's good. Shyness. It harms those with a fixed mindset, but not necessarily with a growth mindset. And that jumped out at me because a lot of people will say, well, I'm too shy to try something new, or uh, I don't want to do this skill in front of other people. I may be bad. Like, for example, karaoke. I've always, okay, I've always wanted to do karaoke, but I'm too, I can sit in the audience and I can say, oh, I'm too shy to do that. Well,
Yeah.
but I gotta ask myself, is everyone else has that feeling at some point or another. But the fixed mindset person stays in the audience, but not necessarily the growth mindset person, because that person gets up there and sure enough, they get they get embarrassed and
Yeah.
their voice
Yeah.
cracks and whatever. But I mean, that's the fun part of karaoke. Everyone does that. And so
Yeah. And
just kind of a
often,
silly
you know,
little
yeah, and
go ahead.
celebrities often talk about that. Celebrities
Mm,
often say they were scared to death to get in front of the audience and perform, until they just said, heck with it, I got to do it, went up there and did
yeah,
it, and were well received,
yeah,
So
exactly.
um,
Exactly.
you got to sometimes just push yourself.
Right, right. And then the final discussion point that popped out at me was groupthink, that being surrounded by people who don't challenge you, and I believe that everyone is a leader, no matter what job situation you're in or in your family, you can be a leader. But when you're surrounded with people who say, "Oh yes, yes, that's the best. Stay here, be safe, and don't take risks, and don't go to school because it's going to be so hard and it's going to cost you money and whatever." But you have to be surrounded by people who see obstacles and who help you think through it logically and not just emotionally. So just being surrounded by yes people is not a successful model. You won't be earning and you won't be growing if you surround yourself with people who don't challenge you.
Yeah, and the group think, Carol Dweck also mentions it in, for leaders that punish people for speaking their mind or for not thinking the same way, for bringing things up that they may not want to hear. So they punish them, and eventually no one speaks up. And that's when groupthink takes over. Everyone sits there and does not agree, but is too intimidated to raise their hand and say, well, I have a different idea, or I have I want to mention something that may be food for thought or something we need to think about. So, and if that's not welcome by a leader, then you just have a dead body of people sitting there.
Yeah.
So
that's so true. And I've come across situations like that. If you're in a brainstorming group, and somebody has a great idea, we're going to sit around, we're going to come up with great ideas, and there's a scribe up there and who has a pen and they're writing on the board, and so they say, okay, so let's have this idea. Well, let's have someone yells out, let's have a picnic. Okay. No, we're not going to do that. So cross it out. Well, let's do this. Let's do a bonding secret Santa, social or birthday month or birthday day or something. Okay, we'll do that. And so they put that up there, and at the end they cross off all the ones except for the one, the scribe has wanted all along. And so everything else is scratched off. And so that's not really a brainstorming. I much more prefer yes and, where you come up with ideas and then each person adds to the ideas, and that makes the ideas
each
better.
one is discussed according to the merits and the benefit, and not discarded
by each other.
And improved by each other, yes.
Yeah. All right. So the connection to other texts, you might have already, we both did mention the sports gene. And even though gifted athletes start out with skills or coordination or strength or muscle mass or whatever, they keep working on it. And that's they're continuing to get better and continuing to find better ways to do whatever skills that they're trying to improve. And you can think of all kinds of athletes that do that. Michael Jordan was an example, and Tiger Woods was an example. Just all kinds of athletes. And then grit. Angela Duckworth emphasizes working on skills necessary for success and never giving up. Learning from mistakes. I mean, these two books are really great together. I think they really inspire me.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and it has a lot of parallels to it.
Yeah.
So, and I also thought that the give and take goes along with this, because that has a lot to do with how we interact with each other and how we encourage each other and how we grow or not grow.
Right. Absolutely. Well, I really, really, really have enjoyed this talk, and it makes me want to not give up and to look for some more problems to work on.
Yes, same here. Take a good look at myself and see what I can contribute to the growth of others and myself.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see. I really, really enjoyed this book. This was really
Me
a
too.
crazy
Me
good
too.
book.
As a matter of fact, I went and ordered a couple of hard copies, and they're going to
Mm.
be Christmas presents.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. Let's see. So what's our book for next week? We have
I wanted to suggest, and I
Mhm.
need to go to my other, and that has to do with time, um,
Yeah,
because we are testing.
yeah,
So these next 2 weeks, I imagine, will be extremely busy for me. So I'm not seeing a whole lot of opportunity for me to read over 300 pages. And the
yeah.
next 3 books all are, are pretty high up with the
Yeah.
pages. So I was gonna check and see if you wanted to take the last book.
Man's Search for Meaning.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
I think that would be something that is manageable.
Okay. That's Viktor Frankl
Hmm.
and Psychology and Philosophy. That's
Yes,
pretty good. So I have 165 pages. I
yes,
think that'll be
I-
good for this span between Thanksgiving
yeah,
and Christmas.
yeah. I'm hoping that I can manage that because it'll be
Okay.
pretty. Because we're testing in the evenings too, so
Yeah.
the evenings are sometimes my reading times, and I won't get
Okay.
to it.
Okay.
So,
All right. Well, that sounds good. Thank you so much, everyone who's watching on the replay. We appreciate thumbs up and subscribing, and we have the whole playlist on our YouTube channel. Thank you
yes,
again,
thank
and
you.
I look forward to seeing you next week.
All righty, and give us some
Bye bye.
feedback.
Yes. Okay.